Hello, good morning to you. Today I would like to talk about alcoholic tinctures, drops we prepare from our herbs. It is a well-known and wonderful way to create the natural remedies. So we are talking about hydroalcoholic extraction of herbs to prepare a herbal remedy on the base of a liquid, hydroalcoholic liquid. It is a huge topic and it's so handy. It's easy to prepare, it's easy for the dosage, it's easy in its application. If I have that little bottle with the drops, wherever I go, I have my medicine with me. If I need 5 drops, we can count. If these 5 drops are not enough to have a positive effect, okay, let's go to 8 drops, maybe 10. If I have with 8 drops too much reaction, so I can reduce it to 5. You see, the dosage is easy. For some herbs, we really need to dosage very clearly. Others, maybe not so much, but for dosage, it's perfect. It's clean, it's hygiene, and I can preserve it for years. A hydroalcoholic extraction you can use for 5 years. So there is a good reason to create hydroalcoholic extraction of our herbs. Some herbs are not soluble in water. You need alcohol. So, which alcohol? If you have only brandy, 42%, it's fine, because if you have a natural remedy, hydroalcoholic natural remedy, with a percentage of 42 degrees, you can be sure it will be stable. If it is only 20%, probably after a few months it somehow will rotten, and we have to be careful. For more oily herbs, the concentration should be at least 65. If you can buy pure alcohol, that alcohol which you can consume, it's not the alcohol for cleaning. Be careful. Don't use alcohol for cleaning to produce drop. It has to be the proper alcohol which you can consume. So if you have maybe 95% alcohol, you can make the proper liquid, maybe 50%, 60%, and so on. But let's say you're in a situation where you find only brandy. Then we compromise. We say we do it with that brandy, probably it's vodka. Look for an alcohol which is not sweet. Sometimes we have these sweet types of liquor, alcohol, they are really not suitable. It should be a dry alcohol, a dry vodka, a dry brandy, and so on. So this is the alcohol. Now, how shall we prepare? How is the dosage between alcohol and the dried herb? If you use the dry herb, a good way to do is half of your jar is the dry powderized herb, and then you pour the alcohol in it. On top, really, you fill up your jar. This we call, it is on the volume proportion 1 to 3. 2 parts alcohol because it's full, and 1 part is the herb. This is quite a high concentration. So I pour it in it, I close it hermetically, and every day I shake, I shake, I shake. If you could see maybe a bit of alcohol.
So now we are in our laboratory, and you can see we have prepared tinctures. If you can see, they're all labeled and things, and written on it the percentage of alcohol and when this was produced, what is in it, etc., etc. So now you can see how Patricia is going to shake the bottles. You'd have to do it for 1 month every day. And if you're preparing tincture in summer when it's warm and hot, it's about 3 weeks, 4 weeks, then they're ready. If you do it in winter when it's colder, then you have to do it maybe even 2 months before the tincture is ready to filter.
It shall be really full. And for 3 weeks up to 4 weeks, I shake it every day, and then it is finished, the extraction is okay, and I will filter it through a sieve and then later through a small towel, which is maybe not too dense, but really filter it nicely. So on the end it's just liquid, no more pieces of herbs and so on. Then your liquid, your remedy is prepared. I fill it into a stock bottle or probably already in the little consumer bottles, and we label it. Let's say Artemisia afra drops. Then I write the name of who it has done. TW, W, Wasser. The date when I made it and the expiry date, which is 5 years. And you write the proportion. Volume proportion 1 to 3, then we know. Because if you get maybe a concentration volume proportion of 1 to 10, the patient will need much more drops because it's much more diluted. So whenever somebody is talking about having had a good result with a remedy, we need to know the proportion. How was that concentration? So we have to write down the two, and of course you write it in your protocol, in your documentation of the preparation of your natural remedy. And I will write on the label the number as well. So probably is my third production in 2021, and you will find it again in your book of the documentation. So this is a simple, natural temperature hydroalcoholic extraction of a month. Maybe you will ask, how can I do it with the fresh herb? Yes, you can do it too, but you will need 3 times more herb. 3 times more herb. So you need a bigger jar and you need probably a bit more of liquid. And sometimes it's not so easy because the fresh herb has a lot of volume. You cannot powderize. You can cut it to make it small, small, small. But whenever you want to try it with the fresh herb, you need 3 times more of the fresh herb as of the dry one. Shall I warm it up? You can. By the end of the production, you can warm it up maybe to 50 degrees, shake it and then filter it, so you will get a little bit more stronger extraction. Can I make it in a shorter time? Just warming it up? Can I put that jar into maybe in warm water, keep it for a day? Can I boil it a little bit and to make it quicker? Theoretically, you can, but it won't be the same product. But if you really need quickly Artemisia drop, I can warm them up and maybe in 2-3 days, warming them up the whole days, all the time. You can make quickly your remedy. But it is a short time extraction. It is warmed up. It's not really the same. It still will work, but it's not really the same. If you do the extraction with natural temperature and with that change of day and night, the product is slightly different, is much more natural. So this is all around how to prepare a hydroalcoholic tincture. So important to know when you give the dosage to the patient, you refer always to the concentration of your tincture. And we, in our situation, we prefer to have always the same concentration of the tincture. So we don't mix up too much with the drop. Because if I use a very diluted tincture, patient needs to have 20-30 drops. If you have a very concentrated, it needs only 5 drops. So by the end, we create confusion if we use a lot of different proportions. Therefore, we tend to have the same proportion, 1 to 3, 1 to 2, and the patient needs to take just a few drops. Look at here, we have the stock bottles. These are all tinctures prepared during the year. They are ready to use. Up here, we have the monotincture, let's say Artemisia, peppermint, wild fennel, and so on. They are well labeled, and the expiry date is at least 5 years. So continuously, we are working on these tinctures to have them always ready. Down here, we have already the products, the combinations, let's say the drops for pain, the drops for digestion, the drops for maybe bladder inflammation, the specific medicine combinations, they're all always ready. So we have both possibilities. We can use monotinctures, we can use combined tinctures, and we can prepare a personalized medicine to the patient. The stock is always ready. And remember, at least 5 years you can have them, and they are closed in a well safe place in the shadow. I'm so happy to present you my cupboard with all our natural remedies. We have many topics. Let's say here, this is immune system. Here we find, for example, an antiviral tincture. We find antibiotics, natural antibiotics. We find the famous Tanzania tincture from Anamed, which is stimulating the immune system, well known in the treatment of HIV. We have Artemisia afra, Artemisia annua tincture, all tinctures on the topic of immune system, and so on. There are many topics about stress, about relaxation, about sleep, about being exhausted, about the kidney, the liver, digestion, and so on. So we prepared it in these boxes thematically, and then you see here we have these little bottles. This is for the consumer, for the patient. And in all of these boxes, we have some tinctures which are just made by one herb. It's a mono herb tincture. And then for all these topics, we have a combination too, because if the patient is weak or fragile or probably old, then we have to work with a very soft, gentle remedy, which is mainly one herb. But for certain conditions, we have to have a combination, 3-4 herbs which work in the same direction or are complementary, synergic together. So for every topic, we have the different herbs already prepared. So if my patient is coming, if I need it, I have it already ready. I just take it. Now, the size of the little bottles depends on the treatment. Let's say we are using olive leaves to help to reduce the cholesterol in the blood fats. This is a long-term treatment for 3 months, for 6 months. So it needs a little bit a bigger bottle to have the 5 drops. Others, maybe you need just a little bottle because you need maybe for 3 weeks, 5 drops a day. So it depends the type of treatment you give, the size of the bottle. What we try to avoid is to give big bottles, half a liter or so on, because you never need a half a liter, and it's better you have the medicine which you need for the treatment, and then it's over, and you need a new one, then you come and you fetch it by your healer, the new one. Otherwise we can find the problem. The bottle is maybe not really finished, and then the patient thinks, oh, my child has the same symptoms, and I give it to the child. And then the child gets the dosage of the adult person, and we run into troubles. Therefore, we try to give to the patient the remedy he needs for its treatment. And then when it is over, can come and fetch another one. So we have the different boxes already well organized, and each is labeled. Down here, we have as well the boxes with the ointment. This is Lengana ointment, Artemisia afra ointment. Well prepared, nicely smelly, well labeled, and we have it on a cool place. Even the cupboard is closed. When we are not here at the room, the herbal room, it's closed, so it's dark inside, and it's a cool, fresh place, and the ointments will stay fine. I think in summer you are fine when you keep them maximally 4 or 5 months. In winter you can keep them easily 6 months. They won't change the quality. And we have some big jars. Let's say this is with olive trees too. Olive tree leaves for making the tea for immune system and for the blood fat. So we have a bigger jar to give to the patient. The herbs is already prepared to prepare the tea. you will find a link where you can order this type of jars, and they are always clean when we prepare them, and we are not using the same jar for other herbs. Let's say in the jar of olive herb, you will use again olive herb. Don't change it to another, because it's always somehow smelly, and we want to mix up. This is our cupboard, and this is the storage. It is out of reach of hands which doesn't know about that, like say children and so on. When I close it, I really close it. And it's well protected.